Thank you, everybody, for joining us today on our JobNimbus 101 workshop. Today, we are going to be talking about how to solve those problems, those bottlenecks that we identified in our account from last week. I'm Dan.
I'm Logan. We're so happy to have you with us. So last week, if you recall, we made a few reports that tell you, hey, this is where your leads are getting stuck on their way to becoming paying customers. Now, leads becoming paying customers is important because, as you might have guessed, that's how you make money. And money is generally important for businesses to survive. Most, not all, we're going to say basically all businesses need money. And sometimes it's just the way it is. You find a place in your business, in your workflow, where you're not converting the way you'd like to be. JobNimbus, being a place where you store all your information, is really good at identifying those places. And now we're going to show you how it can give you some more visibility, keep it top of mind, and even because as humans we are fallible, it can infallibly send some emails for us, give us some task reminders, just to make sure that we're doing the best we can with the leads that we get.
Yeah, exactly. But first, let's actually take a look at those reports that we created last week. So that way we keep them at the forefront of our mind. So the reports we created last week, let's move down here. So we created two reports. One of them was this activity report, moved to lost. What this report shows us is when jobs have been moved into the lost job status and from what status they moved. We found here that we have a lot of jobs moving into lost jobs from the send to pending status. Somewhere in send to pending, we're just losing these jobs. We're missing them and they don't want to work with us anymore. That's a problem. So we need to do something to keep that status visible so we can make sure we're keeping tabs on those jobs. The other one, if I can quickly find it, is this one right here, My Stuck Jobs. This is a job report that shows the correlation between how many days a job has stayed in a specific status to the sales rep that is in charge of that job. As you see, we have jobs that stay in a status for a long time because we are kind of a demo account.
Hopefully your business looks better than ours.
Yes, but we identified two statuses where there are a lot of jobs that have just stayed in those statuses for an obscene amount of time. And those statuses are incoming leads and obtain permit. So we should possibly do something in JobNimbus to help us minimize the amount of jobs that get stuck in those statuses.
Absolutely. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use this report to give us higher clarity and visibility. And if we're going to do that, let's make this report a little bit more useful. Currently, this covers about 150 records. And like Dan said, there's only a few places that we'd consider bottlenecks. So whenever we're talking about making a report more specific, we're going to add a new filter to it. In this case, we're going to filter by status. And those two statuses that we want to look at are incoming leads and obtain permit. So we're going to get those two here into our status. And that cuts it down from those more than 100 to 28. Now that we're done with this, we're going to save those changes. And we're going to put them somewhere you're always going to look. Where is that? It's your dashboard. So let's customize our dashboard. And this gives us a list of all of our reports. Now the ones that we want to use are Move to Lost and My Stuck Jobs. And I would like to move My Stuck Jobs all the way to the top. So I'm going to grab that. And I'm going to shift it up to there. There we go. We'll leave it right under email replies. When we save this, there we go. So right under those email replies, we now have a list of those stuck jobs. And if we go down just a little bit further, here's what's recently been moved into the lost status. So having visibility right away as soon as we log in is very useful. Something to keep in mind is that each dashboard is unique to the person using it. So you'll want to make sure that whoever is in charge of these statuses, whoever the manager or owner is of those statuses, makes these changes. For instance, you'll notice that a lot of these stuck jobs are related to Charles Schnell, whose account we're currently in. It might be nice to give Charles some visibility into his own failures, but maybe his manager, someone like in our account, Harry Stantney, would also want to make this change to his dashboard.
Exactly. That way we can all keep each other in check. But yeah, keeping a visibility is really good, but we can go one step further. We can create some automations to help minimize these bottlenecks. So let's go into automations in our settings and add a rule. We're going to actually add 2 rules here. Both of them are going to be time-based. First one is a follow-up on leads rule. Basically, what we want is when a job has been sitting for an amount of time, we really want to bring it up and create a task, bring it up to our forefront so we see what's happening and we can do something about it. So we're going to say 3 days after the job has been sent, after it's been last updated. So if the job hasn't been updated in 3 days, we want it to do something. Now the status we want to look at for this one is incoming leads. And we want to create 2 actions. First one is a task. This one is a follow-up task. We want to tell our sales rep to call the lead. So let's save that. Now let's create another action. Because not everybody answers the phone, we want to send an email out to the client. So we're going to tell JobNimbus to send this "Are you still interested?" email, basically asking the client, the primary contact on the job, if they're still interested in working with us. We're going to save it, and there we go. That right there is a good automation rule that will create a task reminding us to follow up with them and send an email out to the contact asking them to reach out to us. So let's save that there. And then I'm actually going to duplicate this automation rule so I don't have to create it all over again. And instead of doing a follow-up on leads, we're going to do an obtaining permits automation rule. This is going to run 3 days after the status was last updated. So if it's still in this obtain permits status, it's going to, and for 3 days, it's going to create an action. So we're going to change this status to obtain permit. And we're going to edit these actions because we kind of want the same actions, except this task is going to, we're going to change it to obtain that permit. And we still want it assigned to the sales rep. There we go, update. And then we're going to edit this one. Instead of sending the "Are you still interested?" we're going to use the status reminder template and send it to Harry Stantney. If I can find Harry there, I was hovering over him. So basically this is going to send Harry an email saying, "Hey, this job has been stuck in the obtaining permit status for a while. Can you please help out the sales rep to get that permit obtained?" So there we go. That right there, those 2 automation rules were fairly simple to create, and they are going to make strides in helping minimize the bottleneck that we've encountered in our workflows.
Absolutely. Now, JobNimbus can't solve every problem for you. In fact, it's still, and we're working on this, it's still not capable of putting on a roof or obtaining a permit. If JobNimbus ever is capable of doing that, it might have a Skynet situation on our hands. But hopefully you'll find this useful to have JobNimbus do what it can do to make your life a little bit easier.
Exactly.
And give you some more insight into your business.
Exactly. And we're super happy to have you all here with us today.